Hi guys. So I thought today's topic would be on manipulation of all sorts and something that I have noticed. So I have heard both from men and women that men can be overbearing and domineering, and women can sexualize themselves into getting what they want, as well as being manipulative. Now, when I say toxic masculinity or toxic femininity, I don't necessarily put it to a specific gender. These are just traits. Everyone has both toxic parts of themselves, and they also have feminine parts and masculine parts. The only reason why it becomes toxic is because they don't know how to use it, or they have basically shunned that part of themselves for whatever type of reason. So it becomes extremely stagnant. Most of the time when people kind of shun their masculine or feminine parts, it just means that they have probably been conditioned to fall into some sort of enmeshment or patterns that they had to adapt to. So basically, enmeshment is having to adapt to a particular, either a parent or a guardian, and basically take on their feelings, and you don't have your own feelings of your own. That's basically what it is, and it can be extremely damaging to a child. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a parent, but basically someone that has power over you, such as giving you food, water, shelter, and you have to kind of mimic these emotions from another person, or basically feel how they're feeling and then kind of cope or adapt to how they're feeling, leaves you feeling extremely uncomfortable or vulnerable or confused on how you feel. So sometimes a lot of patterns that are created in unhealthy family dynamics can lead to toxic femininity or toxic masculinity. So basically what I see in modern day society is that a lot of women sexualize themselves, and because America in general allows women to express themselves freely, I don't think that there's anything wrong with being sexy or how do I say this in a nice way? I don't think that there's anything wrong with sex appeal in of itself, but if you use it to manipulate other people, it's going to be very damaging for them. I also see in modern day society that men are taught to be strong at all times, and they're also taught to not be vulnerable with other people. They get their self-esteem from money or status. So it's very interesting that both men and women say the same thing, that men usually say that women sexualize themselves, and women usually say that all men care about is money, when that is actually how the society conditions them to be, to get what they want. If they're a person that doesn't live with intention or is unaware of what they're doing. So in a way, it's not necessarily other person's fault. It's the way that they have been basically conditioned. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've heard a lot of talk about toxic masculinity and toxic femininity, and really it's not anyone's fault, it's society's fault, and the way that we make women be and the way that we make men have to be. I also feel intuitively that a lot of women feel like their beauty is all they have to offer, and that's actually not true. A lot of attraction comes from beauty is just like one side of what you have to offer. There are other things that really make a person really attractive, and intelligence and emotional intelligence is actually a really big something that's very positive for a person when it comes to attraction. the scent, like the way a person smells or how they carry themselves, if they have self-worth. Those are things that are very attractive to other people. And to feel like you only have the gift of beauty to offer to the world, you're just selling yourself short. And my question to you is, if you feel like that's all you have to offer, I feel like someone has told you that your other traits that you have are not valuable. So you have to ask yourself what you value in yourself, and don't sell yourself so short that you only pick people that really value that, because they're not going to stick around for very long. Men in general that bulldoze over women, or in general, have a very, very big fear, and they actually are extremely vulnerable. That usually is a sign that they have a serious abandonment issue, and they are afraid that people are going to leave. So they have been learned at a very young age to basically try to control other people, because they feel like if they don't control them, that they're going to leave. During my healing journey, I didn't really understand like the topics of like attraction, and the way that you conduct yourself is the way that the type of people that you're going to interact with. And having the ability to being understanding of when you're being manipulative and when you're not is going to be extremely helpful. And the rule of thumb that I use is that I don't do anything if I want something in return. So let's say, for example, I do a kind thing for someone else, like maybe I make them a meal or something else. I don't make it for other people, or I don't make a meal for other people if I feel like that person is going to owe me later. I do it because I have the energy to do it, or because I really want to. I also try really hard. I'm not very good at this at the moment, but I'm currently working on doing things because I actually want to do them, and not doing them because I want to be seen a certain way. So a lot of the toxic masculinity and toxic femininity that you're seeing is often a codependent behavior, and it's a lack of self. So something that has really worked for me, if you're a person that struggles with either low self-esteem or really cares too much about other people, and this can work for both parties, is for a long time I used to write down everything I did during the day. And I noticed the things that I did during the day were often like really nice things. And they were very like things that were really thoughtful or very detailed oriented. And I started to notice that that's a value of mine that I have. So I'm not necessarily telling people to write everything down that they do during the day, but it's very helpful to kind of outline the things that you do every day, or your day-to-day activities, and just notice what you do on a daily basis, and if you want to continue those things, or the patterns that you see during those days. I also started to notice how I feel around other people. If I don't feel good around other people, chances are I have to ask myself why I don't feel good around those people, and if I am doing things to be validated, or if I'm doing things because I want to be valued. So if I'm around people that I just generally don't feel good around, that's okay. I have been currently distancing myself from people that I generally just don't feel really good around. And I just kind of notice if I have any manipulative patterns, such as maybe I'm doing something for another person, I'm just hoping that maybe they'll have like in the back of their minds that like they can owe me later, or I call it an emotional debt. Those are things that I really try to not engage in. And I think that has a lot to do with toxic femininity and toxic masculinity as well, is doing things to manipulate other people. And I feel like that's really important and it really help with any form of toxic traits that we have. So that's just something that I have observed and noticed, and observing is probably really helpful for people that are highly reactive people. And I have started to make a practice of not reacting to things and more of observing and responding. So even if I have to take like a breath before I react to something, when you take that first breath, you kind of have that half a second to really think about what you're doing. And that's all responding is thinking consciously about what you're going to do. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you on my next video, and have a great day, guys. Bye.